Now, let's compare your traditional versus your ABC product costs. Ngayon, let's compute for your product margin and using the traditional cost system. Kasi nakapag-compute naman tayo ng product margin under the ABC costing system. So, in the computation ng product margin, same pa rin dun sa ABC. First thing that you do is to gather each product sales and direct cost data. So, we have here information for your standard stanchions as well as your custom compass housing. So, yung kanyang direct cost data are direct materials and direct labor, as well as your data for your sales. So, yung next step ng pag-compute ng inyong product margin is to compute yung inyong plant-wide overhead rate. So, ano ba yung formula para makapag-compute tayo ng plant-wide overhead rate? So, if you recall, sa inyong cost accounting days, the formula for your plant-wide overhead rate is to divide your estimated manufacturing overhead with your total estimated machine hours. Now, if you recall from the given earlier, your total estimated manufacturing overhead was 1 million. And then part also nung given sa dalawang products natin earlier is that for stanchions, you will be needing 17,500 machine hours. And then for your custom housings, you will be needing 2,500 hours. So that will give us a total of 20,000 hours. So 1 million divided by 20,000 machine hours, you get 50 per machine hour as your plant-wide overhead rate. Your third step now is to allocate yung inyong manufacturing overhead to each product. So we have computed your overhead rate to be magkano? $50 per hour. And then, say for example, si stanchions, how many machine hours yung kailangan niya? 17,500. So the overhead to be allocated to standard stanchions will be 875. And the remaining 125 to complete yung inyong 1 million will go to your custom housings. For the last step, let us compute for your product margin. So we have computed that the product margin for standard stanchions is 615,750. Paano na-compute yan? Your sales is 2,660,000. And then, your cost of goods sold are as follows, 905,500. Yun yung kanyang direct materials, direct labor niya na 263,750. And then, yung inallocate mo na manufacturing overhead na 875. So, ma'am, is it safe to say na yung product margin is also your gross profit? Yes. Kung titingnan natin yung total. Pero tinawag lang natin siyang product margin because ang tiningnan natin is per product. Pero yes, it is safe to say that your product margin is also your gross profit. Now, for your custom compass housings naman, your product margin is your 258. Now, before ko makalimutan, emphasize ko ulit ha, product margin is synonymous lang to gross profit if you are using the traditional cost system. But if you will be using yung ABC, of course, your product margin is not synonymous to your gross profit. Because if you notice earlier, dun sa ABC, diba, we charged certain selling and administrative expenses to your product. Now, to continue, so we see here that the product margins for standard stanchions and custom compass housings is 615,750 and 258,000 respectively. That gives us a total of how much total profit margin? 873,750. Now, how much was your selling and administrative expenses? 875. That's why dito, you will see you have a net operating loss amounting to 1,250, which is consistent naman dun sa result ng ABC and consistent dun sa original information that was given to us. Diba at the start of the lesson, we were presented yung income statement para kay Classic Brass. Now, we have here a comparison ng mga product margin ng dalawang products, standard stanchions as well as your custom compass housings. Now, the product margin as computed by traditional costing is 615,750 for standard and 258,000 naman for your custom compass. Whereas the product margins for standard stanchions using the ABC costing is 906,250, and then we have a negative product margin for your custom compass housing. So what do we notice here? Now, your traditional cost system overcosts your standard stanchions and reports a lower product margin for this product. Also, your traditional cost system naman, it undercosts your custom compass housings and reports a higher product margin for this product. There are three reasons why the traditional and your activity-based costing systems report different product margins. Yung first reason is that Classic Brass traditional cost system allocates all manufacturing overhead costs to products. This forces both products to absorb all manufacturing overhead costs regardless of whether they actually consume the costs that were allocated to them. Si ABC kasi does not assign the manufacturing overhead costs consumed by the customer relation activity to products kasi naman yung cost na yon are caused by customers and not by specific products. It also does not assign the manufacturing overhead costs included in the other activity to products because this organization sustaining and unused capacity costs are not caused by any particular product. So from the standpoint ng ABC, assigning yung mga cost na yon to products is inherently arbitrary and counterproductive. Second reason is that your traditional cost system allocates all of the manufacturing overhead costs using a volume-related allocation base. So sa case ng Classic Brass, ang napili nilang volume-related allocation base is machine hours that may or may not reflect what actually causes the costs. In other words, if we take a look at Classic Brass, when they use their traditional system, 87.5% of each manufacturing overhead cost is implicitly assigned to standard stanchions and 12.5% is assigned to custom compass housings. Ma'am, paano mo na-compute yung 87.5 at saka 12.5%? Now, if you can recall, di ba 17,500 hours yung gagamitin na oras ni standard stanchions, while only 2,500 hours naman yung for custom compass housing. So that gives us a ratio of 87.5 to 12.5%. So, anong implication nito? So, say for example, if you take a look at customer orders activity, if babalikan mo, if you will be using the traditional cost system, 87.5% ng customer orders activity is inassign mo kay standard stanchions, even though na-reveal dun sa interview natin using the ABC system that standard stanchions cost only 60% of those costs. Another example to highlight that one is yung tawag nito, cost assigned to standard stanchions for product design. Na if you will recall, wala namang product design na task that was devoted to standard stanchions. Sino lang ang gumamit ng product design when the employees were interviewed? Lahat nun, sinong nag-consume? Si custom compass housings. Pero kung titingnan mo, yung traditional costing system ninyo, 87.5% ng product design cost na i-charge mo kay standard stanchions, while only 12.5 yung napunta kay custom compass, when in fact, dapat yung buong 100%, kanino napunta yon? two custom compass housings. So the result, therefore, is that your traditional cost system overcost high-volume products, such as in this case, the standard stanchions, and undercost low-volume products because they assign batch level and product level costs using volume-related allocation basis. The third reason the product margins differ between the two cost systems is that the ABC system assigns the non-manufacturing overhead costs caused by products to those products on a cause and effect basis. Yung traditional cost system nyo naman disregards this cost because they are classified as period costs. The ABC system directly traces shipping costs to products and includes the non-manufacturing overhead costs caused by products in the activity cost pools that are assigned to products. So here we have Exhibit 7-14. Makikita nyo dito yung comparison of your traditional versus your activity-based cost assignments. So kindly go over the data. So to wrap up and to give closure dun sa story natin about Classic Brass, pakibasa na lang itong slide na to and next slide para naman magkaroon ng closure yung story ng Classic Brass. And now for our last learning objective, that is to identify the advantages and limitations of your activity-based costing. So, this will be the research part ng lesson natin. So, research and at the same time, reflection on your part, kindly identify what you think are the advantages as well as the limitations ng ABC costing. Meron akong pinrovide na last slide, which is slide number 46. That's where you write your answer. So, ano yung na-reflect ninyo, ano yung na-realize ninyo, naisip ninyo na advantages as well as limitations ng activity-based costing. So, that ends our lesson. That ends our discussion for ABC. Thank you for listening. I hope may natutunan kayo. I will see you again on Friday during our during our web conference to answer some exercises. So, ingat kayo parate and have a good day.